Yo, what up, guys? What up? What up? Hopefully, y'all guys doing good on this. What day is it? Tuesday? Tuesday. Dude, got my days all mixed up. Is it Tuesday? Dude, I gotta double check Tuesday. But hopefully, y'all guys doing good, man. I'm doing good. Again, guys, I'm working. For me, it's the middle of the day. One of the things in the month of April, I did some streaming pretty much almost every day, Monday through Friday. I want to continue to do some of the live streams, but it's not going to be every day. I think the schedule that seems to probably work well is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, today being Tuesday, Thursday stream again in the middle of the day. So obviously, guys, if you have any questions, you want to pick my brain, you have anything of that nature, be more happy to try to answer some of these questions that you may have. And again, guys, as I'm working, I'll be sharing some of the items, some of the projects that I'm working on as well. So at least kind of give you some insight, some input to what I'm working on. Obviously, there's some things that I just can't share my screen and show, but the things that I can, I'll be sharing with y'all, right? So that's kind of the plan with the live streams. And yeah, guys. So right now I'm actually making some updates. Worked on this project where we're doing some automation. Ultimately, what we're doing is I was querying the database. I'm generating an email with a body, and I'm attaching some Excel files to this email. There are some changes where it needs to be done slightly different for a different group of people. So I'm adding logic where I'm going to have an argument that's going to get passed into my Python script. So now, since we're going to have two type of the deliverables, and the data sets are going to be slightly different, and also the body, right? The attachment is going to be the same for the most have, like same format, but the actual body of the email is going to be slightly different for this second deliverable compared to the first deliverable. So I'm making those changes right now, and I'm doing some testing, and yeah, they're actually waiting for the results. So I'm going to try to finish it. I should be able to finish it up today. It's nothing major because the core of everything is done. So let me see. I ran my process right now. Let me see. Okay, so I did get emails, deliverables. Yep, let me open this up to see. There's only one logic that I think we're still needing some updates on, but besides that, I think everything else is working fine. I think everything seems fine anyways. All right, let me check this other attachment. Yep, overall it seems fine. Let's see if I could tell if anything stands out. Let's see, we have device, wound. Yep, those are all different. So I think we do have everything. All right, everything seems good on my data, but I do need to add some logic. And again, I need to clean it up too a little bit. Let me see. I think I could share this. Okay, yeah, I should be able to share this. I need to clean it up a little bit as well, but ultimately what's happening here is, you can tell I have this argument, this report type argument now. That's gonna get, it's either gonna be normal or alternate manager. right? That's what the argument is. So we kind of go through the process. I have logic down here which says if report type equals normal, do this and then obviously else if report alternate manager, do this. There's some key differences. For example, where we're getting the results for the alternate managers coming from a different query. So in this case is get cluster alternate manager list, while this one is get cluster org level list. So that's kind of the difference there. There are some other value that we need to pull. For example, cluster org level manager full name. We're down here literally just cluster only. Now we are passing it to the same method, but obviously different arguments. These arguments, we have more arguments up here. We have cluster org level manager full name report type. We're down here literally as cluster and report type. And then some of the, again, there's some other value that do change, like subject name and so forth. Obviously, I think some of this could actually probably be merged to one process, but again, right now I'm in the test phase. I may do some cleanup after the fact. For right now, though, this is kind of what I have. So, but one of the things that came up was, and this relates to this method here. So we have the header. The header is actually going to be slightly different, or is it going to be slightly different? Let me see. No, you know what? Never mind. I don't need to. We have everything here. We have alternate manager. We have manager email. Daily manager, alternate manager, learner full name. I'm trying, you know what? I think what we needed here was manager full name. That's what they wanted to be included. So, all right. And this is coming from get data, curriculum data. So this would be the table that it's coming from. So let me take a look at this table real quick. Let's see. And that table, do we have, let's see if we even, yeah, we do have manager full name in here. Yep, I do see it. All right, cool. So we do have it in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it towards the end of my header list. Damn it. This would be manager full name. Yeah, manager full name. And that's going to just get added to both, which is totally fine. Let me see, where is it coming from? That's coming from, so where's manager email? Let's see. So we have manager email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one 17. Yep, that makes sense. 17. So towards the end, I'm going to add, which would be 18. And this will pull manager's full name. Yep, manager's full name. And then there you go. That was the only thing that was missing, I believe, that we needed. We don't need for this, but we do need it for this. But if it's part of this deliverable, it's not an issue, right? Just extra data that is there, but it doesn't truly matter, right? Not going to break anything. It's not a big deal, big issue. So I'm going to say that's probably it. Let me see. Okay, I think that is it. Again, it takes the arguments, either or. I need to do a test off of this as well to make sure that's working fine. But let me try to think. Let me think. Damn it. You know what? That there is something that changes with that. I just thought about that right now too. So this data set is going to be different, man. Let me think. So let's do this. We have a data list here. So I have my header, which is a full header name. What I'm going to do here is for alternate manager. Here, let's test this out real quick, right? So what I'm going to, let's do a quick test. And let me run it down here. So let's do, let me open up a new terminal. All right, so we got a list of header. And ultimately what we're going to want to do is we pop the last index, which means now if I were to print this, it would be excluding what is the language, due date. Yep, no manager. So that's what I would need to do for this, since technically this manager full name is not needed for this normal piece. Let me think. Hey, yo, what up? What up, CD? Your Python SharePoint video was really useful. Just wanted to, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad you found it useful. I am going to be making some more videos. The last probably 2-3 months, I've been like super busy, man, with work. There's a lot of, which is a good thing, man. Not a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing. Good thing, but been really busy. Been working on my project on adding some additional features to my Go Share It app. So I do have an app that I've been working on called GoShareIt.io. This is the website. So this is like my actual app, but ultimately think of it, it's kind of similar to WeTransfer, even kind of a little bit like Dropbox. But either way, it's the idea behind it is for, sharing documents. So yeah, adding some features to this, some new module, which is a trigger functionality to kind of automate certain processes. Like an example, if you were to upload a file into the portal, have a trigger where it could email out. Send an email out to a specific distribution group, or even take it even a step further where you upload a file and then based on the, you could have a trigger where it would take that file and also upload it to like an S3 bucket or, some other some FTP site, etc. Right. Upload it somewhere. And that would be more ideal for like, when you're sharing documents with like third parties, like external, let's say you're trying to share a document with some sort of ETL processor, somebody that's going to process, your data, your CSV data, as an example. It's too big to email, so obviously you don't want to email. But you may need to share different groups. Some people may need to download it to view it. Other people, may want it at some location, so their service, their jobs could just pick it up and run, right? So, like for the way I'm using it, anyways, is I actually use it for one of my clients. I process a lot of their pharmacy data, and then we do some reporting on it. So ultimately, we have an Excel extract export report, and but it's a big file. It's like 100 megabytes file, so we can't email it or nothing. So I use the Go Share It platform to share it with them, and it allows me to password protect the files. So it's it kind of adds a little bit more a level of security to that, and they could go and download it. But there could be cases where you're let's say somebody, whether it be you or somebody else, sharing raw text files with some sort of vendor that's going to process the files. That's where you could again email it, or you could, what I'm working on, building features where it'll upload automatically to their AWS S3 bucket as an example. Or eventually there'll be other features that I'm going to add, like SFTP, FTP, Azure storage blob, things of that nature. So it looks dope. Appreciate it, man. Is it stable? So right now it still isn't beta version, but so there are a lot of people using it. I'm using it as well. There are a handful of people using it. For the most half, haven't really come across any major bugs. So, but nevertheless, there may be some issues here and there. But overall, really haven't come across any major issues. But it is live. I mean, so, and it is free right now too, obviously. So, man, you're more than welcome to create an account and use it. Once I do, I am going to come out with a subscription version, and there will be extra features to that, like the trigger functionality, API access. I do have, I did build a RESTful API to be able to automate stuff, to like upload automatically. Like I have a job where I use Power Automate. So Microsoft Power Automate, where when we modify this Excel SharePoint file that lives in SharePoint, it'll trigger in Power Automate. And then one of the steps is to connect to the Go Share It API, and it uploads the file to the Go Share It, platform. As it uploads to the platform, in return, it will receive a JSON object that contains the download link with the passcode or password, right? If you set it to be password protected or passcode protected. So it gives you that back in return in the JSON object. And then I take that JSON object, extract those key values, and put it into an email. And then I send it out to a group of people. So now people are, they could go and download that file because there's changes that have been done to the file, as an example. But that's done through the API. Right, so that piece, that piece is actually working. I'm trying to think if it's in production right now. It is. It actually is in production. So that's one piece that's in production. But that feature that I just mentioned, like that will be paid. That will be part of more so of the subscription version, right? The free version would be more, you could manually upload a file, share it with whatever, password protected. But you only have the duration of like 7 days, which means if you upload a file to share, it's only available to access for 7 days. And then ultimately the file kind of, gets deleted. And then, but that's that's the free tier version anyways. I would give it a try. Yeah, man, go ahead and try it out. I mean, maybe you find some use for it. Again, it comes for at least what I have got back to the feedback. It comes in very handy, especially when you're dealing with large files, right? That you can't really email to people either, things of that nature. And you also want to add like a level of security by password protecting it or passcode protecting the download access. That's kind of where it comes in, becomes handy. And on top of that, your recipient doesn't need an account, right? So whoever you share this file with, all they need is a download link and let's say the passcode or password. That's it. They don't need to create an account to access it or none of that stuff. So that was the other thing that it was built with that in mind, right? More so where recipients shouldn't have to create an account to be able to access the file. All they need is a download link. And again, in order to add some kind of protection where not everybody can download it at will, that's where the password protection, passcode protection kind of comes in handy, to make it a little bit, not as easily accessible to anybody. And there's other stuff that I did to make it a little bit more harder too, for not just random people could figure it out as well. With the URL, there's a lot of encoding as well going on with the URL and things of that nature. So there's things to make it a little bit more harder for to even identify that URL. Yeah, so what I was thinking here is this header could stay, but this header, what I need to do here is, let's see, I'm going to actually move this down and I'm going to move it over here. And what I'm going to do here is, if it's a normal type, I'm going to do header.pop. And the reason why, because I wanted to remove this last name that I provided. I don't want that. And that'll give me the right header for the normal piece. Now, for the alternate manager piece, I do not want to remove that. That's going to stay as is. So I'm not going to do nothing here on that piece. Now, the thing that does change, though, I am going to say is going to be on what we're appending. And this piece here, I think what I could do is, let me think. So all this is really a list. So let me go ahead. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to, if it happens to be an alternate manager, I'm going to call this, let me call it row, which is going to be a list of all the values. And then this data set, hold on. Nope, that's not right. Damn it. That's not what I wanted. Is the code you are writing now related to that? No. So what the code that you're seeing here, it's for this project that I'm working on. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the Go Share It app. This is ultimately what I'm doing is for one of my clients. So the overall scope of the project is they give me the zip file of these courses of all of their employees, of what courses they're taking. And so what I do, we load that data into a database. In this case, it happens to be a Postgres database. Once it gets loaded to the Postgres database, I have this Python script that would actually query the database. And when they query the database, there's some iteration process that I do based on specific groupings of like 3 different like types, like by grouping by like cluster, org level, and I think manager. So based on those 3 groupings, I'm getting data, I'm querying the database based on those 3 criterias. And then I'm generating the email for each different type of grouping, right? Which in this case happens to be a lot, like over 100. So I'm literally generating 100 emails, and then I'm providing a body, some data in the body of the email. And then I'm also attaching an Excel file that gets attached to the email. And then it's emailed it out to a specific email group. Once it goes to that specific email, this is part of my client. This is my client on my client side. It's their email. They have a Power Automate job that would run. And what it does, it's able to pretty much just take the attachment and then take some of the information of the body of the email to generate a nice email template, and then they distribute it out internally to their groups. Initially, the original plan was I was just going to email to all of their associates, all of the managers, the employees. The problem is, again, I'm not an employee of theirs. They're a client of mine. They didn't want the email coming from me because I'm not an internal user. I'm a vendor, so they prefer the email to come from them. So that's kind of the reason why I have to email it to a specific email account that they have, and then Power Automate would pretty much take my email and then just resend it to the right group of people on their side. That's kind of what it's doing. But yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. There were some changes that they added. I already had this completed. Technically, I had it completed already, but there were some changes that they wanted, and so now I'm making some of these updates, making some of these changes. So again, for some people, this is good or bad. It just depends. I think it's a good thing anyways, but I work on a lot of different projects. As you could tell, this project is strictly very more like automated. That's kind of what it is. It's, using my Python skills, but ultimately to like automate a process. But then I work on other projects that are more web based, right? Creating my web app, Go Share It, or other web apps. Then of course I work on projects where focus on more database, or so on, right? So it's kind of all over the place. Like I deal a lot of APIs. So there's some projects with backend, but I'm dealing with APIs and parsing data and loading data to databases and things of that nature. And then I also do a lot of DevOps because again, I have to manage everything on my side. So I use AWS. When I deploy an app, deploy updates, change version, changes in the version, backups, database backups, maintenance, EC2 instance updates. I just did an update over the weekend on one of my relational databases, Postgres, which I think it was 11.6, and I upgraded to like 14 point, maybe it was 14.4, I believe. But again, so like I'm like all over the place. But I like it, man, because it really gets you more exposure to a little bit of everything, right? So again, not everybody likes that, but I like it anyways. Let's see. One of the things that I may be doing, maybe hopefully next 2 months or so, is probably bring somebody on board, like hire somebody, but part-time. Hire somebody part-time, and hopefully that's the case, right? That's the plan. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. What I think what I'm going to end up doing though is I'll probably make a video related to that, and probably reach out to people that follow me, man. See who's interested, and it will be more likely a part-time role. It's not a senior position either, so you don't have to have like years of experience, but obviously you have to have a background in Python and understand at least the concepts, fundamental programming in Python decent, because that's what I use. We use Python. Obviously we deal with a lot of databases as well, but I have somebody already that works for me full time, and they focus more on the database side. The mappings, we use a tool called MapForce, so they deal with all the mappings, database design, database development, creating views, procedures. So they kind of more focus on that. But yeah, man, this will be more for on the Python side, because I have been getting more and more projects that I'm working on. So that's something that I may be needing. I may be hiring somebody hopefully in the next 2 months or so. But it'll probably start off part-time first, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Using client ID and client secret. Let me see. Is there a video for connecting to SharePoint Online using Python, using client ID and client secret? So I have been doing some testing, been doing some research over that. One of the major problems that I have come across is more so related to the package that I'm using, right? So, and you probably noticed a lot of my video, the package that I've been using has been the Office 365 Python RESTful API. Well, that package has some issues when it comes to client ID and client secret. And they even notated on some of the examples, like, that, hey, this is not going to work, blah, blah, blah. I think the only way, the way for that package that it would work would be to create a, do the certificate method. So you got to set up a certificate and get that. That would be that's used for your authentication. There is a way to do it though, using client ID and client secret. I kind of started doing some testing, but building my own, like using the request package and, connecting to it that way. And I think that would work. It just, again, I think the only thing that sucks from doing it that way is, when it comes to connecting to all of the different endpoints, right? Whether it be, to a specific folder to upload a file or maybe download a file, all of that will have to be built out. And so, yeah, I need to see if SharePoint has that functionality. I haven't looked into SharePoint just because I've been using Office 365 API package. So, yeah, it's just one of those issues that package has issues with, and it kind of sucks that it has those issues. I don't know why it does, man. It does, but I'm just not quite sure why. But they notate that it does have issues. I saw in GitHub in some of the notes that that is something that the creator is aware of. They even notate it, but I'm not sure the reasoning on why. I just want to read a list. Gotcha. I'll do some additional testing, and what I may end up doing is kind of start from scratch, right? Not using any package, right? Besides the request package for Python, but not using any kind of third-party packages that's designed for Office 365 or none of that. And I'm pretty sure I could build my own, at least, script that will accommodate that, right? At the minimum, which is using the request package and using client ID and client secret to connect to and all of that. So I'll do some testing related to that, man. And if I have success, I'll make a video, because there is a few steps you got to do. You do got to create your client ID and client secret. You got to get that set up in SharePoint first. But I believe you got to be an admin. I could be wrong, but I want to say you have to be an admin to do that. So that's something to keep in mind, right? You got to be admin. But once you do that on SharePoint and that's done and you get your client ID, client secret, then yeah, I'll test it out in Python and see what I could figure out by building it myself, right? To authenticate with client ID and secret. So I'll put that on the list, man, and I'll do some testing related to that, see what I could find. So let's see, what was I gonna do here? So based on the data set, oh, that's what it is, right? So I'm gonna get, no, hold on. I'm getting the same data set. The data set is the same. The only thing that's different here is the query. The one is filtering by cluster, the other one is filtering by org level and manager. So Let's see, give me 1 second, guys. All right, cool. So let me close this out. Let me go back. All right. So the results, the data set is going to be the same. It just the statements. There's some additional filtering. So that doesn't change. The difference though is what's included. So for example, let me think. So I'm appending a list, but really I don't, this last column, this last value, I only want if it's alternate manager. So let me clean this up a little bit real quick. So what I could do here is, I don't really want to, I mean, this does work, but I don't think this is not the best option either. Let me think. Oh, let me think. Let's just do this, man. Let's do this. So I'm gonna take this. This would be under alternate manager, which it is what we want. And then the top one is gonna exclude this last column. Oops. There it goes. So ultimately what we're doing here is I have my header. If it's normal reporting type, I'm doing a pop because I want to remove this last column here, right? I want to remove it. So because I'm removing it, as you could tell here, where I'm appending my data set, I'm actually removing this last column value as well because I removed the column, right? It makes sense. But if it's alternate manager, I'm going to keep the existing header that I have, which has that extra column, and I'm gonna again include that additional. Hold up, that's not right, is it? Something's not right here. What's going on? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. All right, let me see what am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing something. So let's see, I have 1, which is this guy, yup. 2, curriculum name. 3, curriculum status, yup. 4, paste to complete, yup, that's fine. 5, percentage completion, yup. 6% priority, yep, that's fine. 7 is a sign on, yep, sign on. And then we go to 17. Right, so 17 would be learner email, which I see over here, yep, in the database. Then we have 15, which should be manager's email. And then we have 14, should be alternate manager, yep, that's fine. And then we have 18 should be daily manager email, which it is. And this is 18. Hold on, that's not right. Daily manager email. Daily manager email. Alternate manager email is what, 14, but it's 15 in the database. Let's see. Let's go back. Learner full name is index 1, because I remember index starts at 0, 1, but in the database is actually column 2. So again, index 1, but 1 really means 2 when it comes to place. So you got to move it up 1. So if I look at my final 18, which is manager's full name in the database, it's 17, but the index is actually 16. That's what it is. So just like over here, it's index 1, but in the database actually 2, it goes up by 1. This is actually, in the database is column number placement 17, which again, 16 here, 17 in the database. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to say, dude, I already had 18. That's why, because 18 here, database would be 19, which it is. And then we have 13, which is 14 database for language. And then 8 is due date. 9, yep. All right, now there it goes. That's more like it. So that should give me, that should include the manager name there. All right, I think that fixes everything. Okay, so let me try to think. So I don't need this anymore. Let me save it. All right, I think I need to get new files though. Yeah, I do need to get some new files. Oh, damn, you know what? I already had files. Oops, my bad. So one project that we're working on is we're migrating from one of our databases. So it's a SQL Server database. We're actually moving that off of SQL Server, and we're going to move it over to AWS, Aurora, Postgres. A few reasons. Cost. It's a little bit cheaper in cost. The performance we get out of it. Right now we have a dev environment, so we copied over all the data. There's a process, obviously, when it comes to converting. This is where it becomes challenging. So if you're ever working on a project like this, you got to be aware of. The data wasn't too bad, right? Which is number one. Because there is a service in AWS, which is database migration service or something. I think that's what it's called, database migration service. It actually works good. It's able to copy everything over and mimic it exactly to how it looked before. So that's a good thing. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't move over indexes. It doesn't move over identities. It doesn't move over views, procedures. Now there is a tool, this other tool that is provided with Amazon, AWS anyways. It's called, what is it called? Dude, I actually have it open now that I think about it. Yeah, there you go. I can show this tool, AWS schema conversion tool. So ultimately what it does, it converts, views, tables too, and things of that nature. Now, but again, when it comes to tables, it may not convert it to how you had it before. Now, what it does do, it does try to convert it to what conforms to the database structure. Like in this case, as you could tell, see how we have, camel case type lettering, uppercase letters and lowercase and so forth. Same thing with the tables. But in Postgres, everything's lowercase, right? So assuming that that's not an issue, then that's fine. But all this tool will do, it would just give you the schema of all the tables. It doesn't move data. That's the thing about it. It does not move any data over. It's strictly schema. If you use the database management migration service, that moves everything. It creates the schema that mimics what it was before. So it will actually look exactly like this, and it will load the data, which is a big plus. But one of the things that we had to go through and try to kind of address semi-manually, not necessarily manually, but kind of manually, is, well, tables, again, that DMS works fine, but you got to deal with views. You got to deal with procedures. We got 61 procedures as an example. And this is where this does not always convert smoothly. Some of it converted okay, where we just had to make very small tweaks, if anything, and we're good. Others, it didn't convert properly. Like it tried to convert, and it did not give us back any error messages of the conversion. But when we try to run it, we get an error like, oh, this is not valid or whatever. And then there's some, a very few, but there are some that it actually didn't even allow us to create them in Postgres, because there was whatever it was. There were certain things that were just like, it couldn't convert at all. Had no idea how to convert it properly. So for those, we're gonna have to manually go through it and fix it before, just to be able to create the procedure in the database. So those are some of the things that, learning curves, obviously, but you're gonna have to deal with if you are migrating, especially, again, if your procedures are pretty straightforward, I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. But if you have a lot of complexities, if you have a lot of custom functions that you're creating that exist only on SQL Server, as an example, you're gonna have to create a lot of these custom functions, in Postgres, and some of it may not convert over properly. So you're gonna have to figure those out, fix them first, and then, it's gonna be a process. Put it that way. Obviously, not impossible and not crazy hard, but it does take time. I guess that's the main thing. Okay, so I do have new files over. Did I copy new files over? Let me see. I don't think I did. I mean, I think I did, but all right, cool. So now I did. Let me try to think. All right, let me go ahead and run this process now. So again, I got to pass an argument, because that's one of the new things that I added. In this case, I'm going to pass in the alternate manager argument. So now when I run it, it should run the logic, obviously, that relates to alternate manager, which is the report type. And what I'm looking for here is manager full name at the end. So let me go ahead and run it, make sure that's the case. Damn it, you know what? There's something else I need to modify. I completely forgot. But it's not a big issue because it relates to this guy over here. So let's see. One of the things that they wanted here is they don't want alternate manager in the normal section no more. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which would be this guy right here. Yep. So I'm gonna actually make this blank. I'm still gonna leave it on there. So I'm gonna leave that blank. Yeah, because I don't want that to be provided. All right, either way, so this piece ran. Let me check my email to see. I should have got that. Let's see if I see manager. Boom, I do see manager full name. Yep, I do see it in there. Cool. And I don't see the header. What the hell? Header never got added. Damn it. Yep, damn it. All right, so I need to fix that. It's missing the header. So we have header, pop header, but then we have append header down here, right? And then we return the list. So why? Trying to think now. Let me make sure I'm not missing something. Oh, I know why. Damn it. It added the header. Yep, I know exactly why. It did add the header, but it added it towards the end. That makes sense because I appended it towards the end. So just like here, I'm appending the list. So in this case, I actually need to add the header to the first row. That's what I need to do here. All right, give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, I actually have a client. They want to jump on a call. What time is it? So it's been about an hour that I've been streaming, which is fine. You know, try to at least get 1 hour streaming if possible. All right, man. So I'm gonna call it. A day. You know, at least got an hour. Again, schedule gonna be Tuesdays, Thursdays, man. So I'll be on Thursday. Again, if you have any questions, man, feel free to jump on the call. And yeah, man, be more than happy to. Again, I'm going to be sharing stuff that I'm working on. So if you're interested in what I'm working on, at least you kind of get a little bit of insight. what I'm working on. You have questions, try to answer any of your questions that you have. And yeah, guys, again, appreciate it like always, man, joining the stream, and see y'all on Thursday. Peace.